Well, hiya, BookTube. Bill Ruttenberg here with the Ruttenberg Library. Wanted to come to you today with a mail haul. It's been, about a week since I've talked to you last, and things are they're still busy here. I told you school's been going for a couple weeks now, 3 weeks now, I think, and I'm still trying to balance out my schedule with my reading and school and coaching and trying to do videos. And I have not done a very good job on the video side, but I do have an excuse for that. Because my reading time got cut, because we're no longer in summer, I've been trying to use my mornings as much as possible to get my reading, as much reading done as I can. And so that cut out of video time. And so again, it is what it is, and I will try to get these videos going, and that is a big goal of mine, is to get the videos more on a regular every other day basis like I did throughout much of the summer. But anyway, no use crying over spilled milk. We're just going to move on. But like I said, I got a nice mail haul here that I wanted to share with you. I'm expecting a couple of more, I think at least three more books in the mail. I'm expecting in this next week, and I'm really excited about those and the opportunities that they are going to present for me and the channel. But anyway, before I get to those, obviously they got to get here before I could show them. I'm going to show you this stack of stuff. Most of this, almost every bit of it, is from a fellow booktuber, Peg at the History Shelf, and I want to just have a shout out to Peg. I know most of you, if you follow my channel, you probably follow hers, but if you don't, go check out Peg's channel, The History Shelf, and she puts out some awesome content. If you need to build a TBR list, go to her channel. She will stack them up for you. She has a lot of different books that come into her library from publishers. A lot of it nonfiction, history type stuff, or most of it anyway. And she also does a lot of her own shopping, of course, going on to different university presses and Casemate and just all kinds of different publishers. I'm going to end up forgetting some, so I'm going to stop there. But go check out her channel. She has lots of good stuff out there, as many of you already know. So, as I said, all of the books in this mail haul are from her. And then I had one magazine haul because I subscribed to Smithsonian Magazine, and I got my new magazine in the mail I think it was this last week. It may have been last weekend. I can't remember. But this one, the front cover is all about King Arthur, and I thought that was kind of cool. Let's see, it says, "In Search of King Arthur, Fact, Fiction, and Folly on the Legendary Cornwall Coast." And this is really neat because I think I'm going to take it to school and share it with our English teacher, because she does, King Arthur and Knights of the Round Table and those kind of stories in one of her units for English. And this might be something that she really enjoys. But some other articles in this September 2022 issue was, a hunt for 50 million year old fossils in Wyoming. So all you people that like your fossil hunting, there you go. History, sparkling sun, and heritage wine in Croatia. So going into Europe with that one. And then the other one that's highlighted, which I thought sounded interesting, an explosive World War II tragedy in California. So anyway, yeah, Smithsonian Magazine, got that in the mail. Look forward to dipping into that. So now we get to the books. And again, these are from Peg. She had left me a note about this first book, and she has read it, and it has the Peg stamp of approval. She said this was a pretty awesome book. So anybody looking for some fiction, I think this was the only piece of fiction in the stack. And all of these are uncorrected proofs. I think all of them are, maybe. Yeah, I think all of these are all uncorrected proofs. But she was passing them along to me, and I'm very, very grateful. So this first one that gets the Peg stamp of approval is The Last of the Seven, a novel of World War II by Stephen Hartov. I probably butchered that. I apologize. But all of these are fairly new releases, so I'm not going to like open them up and give you a date. This is from Hanover Square Press. And let me read the cover to you, because like I said, this is the one she said was really good. It says, a spellbinding World War II novel based on the little-known history of the X Troop, a team of European Jews who escaped the continent only to join the British Army and return home to exact their revenge on Hitler's military. So that's going to be exciting here. A lone soldier wearing a German uniform stumbles into a British military camp in North African desert with an incredible story to tell. He is the only survivor of an undercover operation meant to infiltrate a Nazi base, trading on the soldiers' perfect fluency in German. However, this man is not British born, but instead a German Jew seeking revenge for the death of his family back home in Berlin. As the Allies advanced into Europe, the young lieutenant is brought to recover in Sicily. There he is recruited by a British major to join the newly formed X Troop, a commando unit composed of German and Austrian Jews training for a top-secret mission at a nearby camp in the Sicilian hills. They are all lost boys, driven not by patriotism but by revenge. Drawing on meticulous research into the unique group of soldiers, The Last of the Seven is a lyrical, propulsive, historical novel perfect for readers of Mark Sullivan, Robert Harris, and Alan Furst. And let's see, this says it is coming out August 9th, 2022. So about a month ago, this one came out. So anyway, go check that out at your local bookstores. I think that'll probably be one of the first ones I read in this stack of books. All right, so the next one that she sent is called What It Took to Win, A History of the Democratic Party by Michael Kazin. And so there you go. This is, again, an uncorrected proof. It is due out, let me see here. It's going to be a $35 book, and it came out March 1st of this year. So we'll see. From Farrar, Strauss, and Giroux, however you say that. But real fast, just a little blurb on the back. A leading historian's definitive narrative of the world's oldest political organization and its commitment to moral capitalism, from Andrew Jackson to Joseph Biden. So that'll be interesting, a nice history of the Democratic Party. Oh, it did have something on the front cover. Let me read that to you, sorry. Let's see, the Democratic Party is the world's longest-running mass political organization. Since its inception in the early 19th century, it has played a leading role in defining American society, whether it was exercising power or contesting it. But what, if anything, has the party stood for through the centuries, and how has it managed to succeed in elections and govern? In What It Took to Win, the eminent historian Michael Kazin relates the party's many past accomplishments and failures in the context of urgent present-day concerns. From the beginning, the Democrats were committed to creating moral capitalism, a system that mixed entrepreneurial freedom with the welfare of workers and consumers. And yet the same party that championed the rights of the white working man also vigorously protected or advanced the causes of slavery, segregation, and Indian removal. As the party evolved toward a more inclusive, egalitarian vision, it won durable victories for Americans of all backgrounds. But it also struggled to hold together a majority coalition and advance a persuasive agenda for the use of government. Kazin traces the party's fortunes through vivid characters, sketches of its key thinkers and doers, from Martin Van Buren to the financier August Belmont, and reformers such as Eleanor Roosevelt and Sidney Hillman. He also explores the records of totemic presidents from Andrew Jackson and Woodrow Wilson to Bill Clinton and Barack Obama. Throughout, Kazin reveals the rich interplay of personality, belief, strategy, and policy that define the life of the party, and outlines the core components of a political endeavor that may allow President Biden and his co-partisans to renew the American experiment. So we'll see how good that one is, and nice little political history of the Democratic Party. I will say, I need to throw this out there, I've gotten so used to my new readers that, and I left them over on the table, but I've gotten so used to it, it's almost hard to read, especially if, like on that first one, it's got a dark cover and it's kind of hard to read the stuff. So if I am slowing down, stuttering, please excuse me as I squint and stumble through these summaries of the book. So anyway, the next one that's in the stack here, Egypt's Golden Couple, how Akhenaten and Nefertiti became gods on earth, by John Darnell and Colleen Darnell. Now, obviously, this is out of my comfort zone as a reader. I mean, I like history, but I don't usually read about the ancient Egyptians, and I just butchered that name right there. So please excuse me on that. I am not super duper familiar with some of these names. This is from St. Martin's Press out of New York, and it is, let's see, it came out, where are you at? It comes out in November. It hadn't come out yet. So this one comes out November of 2022. So be looking for this on your bookshelves. Egypt's Golden Couple. And this, the back side says, that's small print. Two celebrated Egyptologists bring to vivid life the intriguing and controversial reign of King Tut's parents. Of course, it has to use the king's name here. Akhenaten has been the subject of radically different and even contradictory biographies. The king has achieved fame as the world's first individual and the first monotheist, but others have seen him as an incestuous tyrant who nearly ruined the kingdom he ruled. The gold funerary mask of his son Tutankhamun and the painted bust of his wife Nefertiti are the most recognizable artifacts from all of ancient Egypt. But who are Akhenaten and Nefertiti? And what can we actually say about rulers who lived more than 3,000 years ago? So, yeah, be looking forward to that. I'm not going to, there's one more paragraph on there, but I'm not going to read it because I'm going to butcher the name again. I know I am. Please forgive me for my ignorance. So anyway, be looking for that, November 2022. It sounds like it's going to be an interesting one. This next one on the stack, and you've seen this in a couple of different booktubers book hauls or mail hauls, or at least I have anyway, if you're in our little community of booktube here. This is Gangsters versus Nazis, how Jewish mobsters battled Nazis in wartime America. And this is by Michael Benson. And this came out March 26th. April 26th, excuse me. April 26th of this year. And so, and this is coming from Citadel Press, and officially comes out, well, it says April, but it says May 2022 on the spine there. Anyway, around it, it's already out. It came out this spring, but this sounded interesting. And when Peg had asked if anybody was interested in some of these titles, this is one of those that I sent her a message and said, I'd be interested in that. Sounds like something that would, sound interesting. So anyway, as Adolf Hitler rose to power in the 1930s Germany, a growing wave of fascism began to take root on American soil. Nazi activists started to gather in major American cities, and by 1933, more than 100 anti-Semitic groups were operating openly in the United States. Few Americans dared to speak out or fight back until an organized resistance of notorious mobsters waged their own personal war against the Nazis in their midst. In this thrilling blow-by-blow account, acclaimed crime writer Michael Benson uncovers the truth about the insidious rise of Nazis in America and the Jewish mobsters who stopped them. Packed with surprising, little-known facts, graphic details, and unforgettable personalities, Gangsters versus Nazis chronicles the mob's most ruthless tactics in defeating fascism, inspiring patriotic Americans to join them in their fight. Here is one of the most famous events of the pre-war era, the 1939 Nazi rally in Madison Square Garden, in which law-abiding citizens stood alongside hardened criminals to fight for the soul of a nation. This is the story of the mob that's rarely told. One of the most fascinating chapters in American history and American organized crime. So that sounded pretty interesting to me. You know, big, kind of a big time event that doesn't get really talked about a whole lot. All right, so 3 more books here. 3 more books. And this next one, this is coming out, this just came out last week on the 6th. And this is American Demon, Elliot Ness and the Hunt for America's Jack the Ripper. This sounded really interesting. I think Peg just went through this book. Was it last week? She had maybe a couple, is either last book haul or a couple book hauls ago. She just went over this. Is by Daniel Stashower. And I like Daniel Stashower. I read his book on Lincoln, The Hour of Peril, which talked about Lincoln and how he had to, his first assassination attempt when he was coming into Washington, D.C., they were going to try to assassinate him in Baltimore, and they were able to change Lincoln's travel plans and sneak him in the middle of the night. And I thought that was a really good book. I thought he did a good job with it. So I was real excited when I saw this book, American Demon, in the box of books because, well, Daniel Stashower's got some credit with me. And this comes from Minotaur Books. And this says, on September 5th, 1934, a young man made a gruesome discovery on the shores of Cleveland's Lake Erie, the lower half of a female torso. Ugh. The victim, dubbed the Lady of the Lake, was only the first. Over the next 4 years, 12 more bodies would be scattered across the city, each dismembered with surgical precision and drained of blood. Terror gripped the city. Amid the growing uproar, Cleveland's besieged mayor turned to his newly appointed director of public safety, Elliot Ness. Famous for busting Al Capone, Ness now confronted a case that would redefine his storied career. I thought that sounded very, very interesting. Disgusting, but interesting. So thank you, Peg, for that one. And now the last 2 books. These are probably the 2 that I am the most excited about, and they definitely go more in my wheelhouse. These other ones, they're great titles, don't get me wrong, and I love reading outside my comfort zone. These would be inside my comfort zone. So I was real excited when I saw these. But like I said, Peg, I appreciate all of them. These really sound like they're going to be real good reads. Real excited to partake in those. But these next 2, these are the icing on the cake. So this first one here is from Riverhead Books out of New York, and it's a 2022 book. It comes on sale next month, so this one's not out yet. This is October 25th of 2022. This is Indivisible, Daniel Webster and the Birth of American Nationalism by Joel Richard Paul. So I'm very, very excited to be looking at this book. Let me read this cover to you. When the United States was founded in 1776, its citizens didn't think of themselves as Americans. They were New Yorkers or Virginians or Pennsylvanians. It was decades later that the seeds of American nationalism identifying with one's own nation and supporting its broader interests began to take root. But what kind of nationalism should Americans embrace? The state-focused and racist nationalism of Thomas Jefferson and Andrew Jackson? or the belief that the United States Constitution made all Americans one nation, indivisible, which Daniel Webster and others espoused. In Indivisible, historian and law professor Joel Richard Paul tells the fascinating story of how Webster, a young New Hampshire attorney turned politician, rose to national prominence through his powerful oratory and unwavering belief in the United States and captured the national imagination. Webster argued that the Constitution was not a compact made by states, but an expression of the will of all Americans. As the greatest orator of his age, Webster saw his speeches and writings published widely, and his stirring rhetoric convinced Americans to see themselves as a nation bound by a government of laws, not separated by parochial interests. As these ideas took root, they influenced future leaders, among them Abraham Lincoln, who drew on them to hold the nation together during the Civil War. Indivisible is both a compelling history and a fascinating account of one of the founders of our national perspective. I was super excited about this because his argument, definitely there is another side to that argument, and so I'm interested to see how Joel Richard Paul puts together this argument. So thank you, Peg, for that. I am looking forward to that book. So the last one. This is it's the smallest of the stack. It is from Osprey Publishing, and it is a Civil War book. And it's very basic, but it has got me super excited. And it's by, I think his name's pronounced Ian McGregor, U.S. Civil War, Battle by Battle. And it's just a little tiny book. It's super tiny. But if you are familiar with Osprey Publishing and the photography that they do, I say photography, the artwork that they do, this thing is loaded with it. And it literally goes battle by battle, and it has all of the major, just a short synopsis, a couple pages of all of the major battles, the people involved, all of that kind of stuff. But I love that photography. You see that? That is wonderful. And so it's just a summary of the different battles of the Civil War. And I mean, it's going to be a super quick read. There's Gettysburg. It's going to be a super quick read, but I am very excited to have this. This will be just a nice little collector piece to go with my Civil War collection. I'll read the back of it to you. It's pretty short here, and then we'll just wrap this up. So the U.S. Civil War was the most cataclysmic military struggle of the late 19th century. In 4 bloody years of fighting from 1861 to 1865, more than 620,000 American soldiers and sailors lost their lives in more than 8,000 battles, engagements, and skirmishes. From famous clashes such as the battles of Gettysburg and Fredericksburg through to the less well-known such as the battles of Brandy Station and Cedar Creek. Illustrated throughout, the U.S. Civil War Battle by Battle tells the story of 30 significant engagements covering every theater of the war and detailing infantry, cavalry, artillery, and seaborne units from both the Union and Confederate forces to give a true sense of the scale of the war that tore the country apart. So that is just super cool. And on top of that, it's pretty affordable, because if you get to looking at Osprey books, sometimes, even though they're smaller books, that sometimes they're, they got a little bit bigger price tag, but this is going to be a $12 book. And so I'm pretty excited about that. It's going to make it so that it's cost effective, where people can, afford to pick that up and put that in their collections. And it's got nice little French flaps. That's kind of cool. And then I just noticed they've got some other ones that are similar to that. The Tank Spotter's Guide, they got the Ship Spotter's Guide, World War II Battle by Battle, Plane Spotter's Guide, World War II Fighter Plane Spotter's Guide. Had that all on the French flap. I thought those look kind of neat. And so give me some ideas of some other stuff to look for. But anyway, Osprey Publishing, be looking for that. That's a nice little addition for your Civil War collection. So anyway, BookTube, I hope you have enjoyed this. I hope maybe the stack of books has given you some ideas of stuff to pick up and read. And I will try to remember to do videos on these books as I read them. Again, it just comes down to time. I have a whole stack of them here that I have finished in the last couple weeks that I have this thought I'm going to make videos on all of them, and just time keeps slipping away. But I will try to do that, and I'll let you know my thoughts on these books. I look forward to, reading through them. And thank you again, Peg. If you are not a subscriber to her channel, or you've never watched her channel, go check it out. She's got a ton of good stuff over there. And it's just always good listening to her and her perspective on history itself. And let's not forget crime fiction and mysteries and all of that other stuff she reads. So thank you, Peg. I really, really appreciate it. And BookTube, until next time, hope you're having a great weekend. Happy reading.